is included in the report is the following. The first is that the President has to consider taking action against the Minister for Public Works for her actions as referred to in this report.
There are a couple of key things that emerge out of what Thuli Madonsela proposed. The first is that clearly these deals oughtn't to go ahead, and the fiscus should be spared wasting money on grossly inflated leases, right? And that's a pretty basic recommendation and one that's easy to carry through, I think. It seems like the legal case is pretty straightforward. Of course, what she's also proposed is that the President act in relation to the dereliction of duty at best by Gwen Mahlangu-Nkabinde, the Minister of Public Works, and indeed by the National Police Commissioner, Becky Cele. Now, those are much more complicated things politically for the President to do.
The idea of the Public Protector as an ombudsman is to support democracy. The ministers concerned and the authorities concerned have instruments that guide their action. So I'm not going to prescribe. It's the same thing that applies with the minister. I'm not prescribing to the President what should he do, but I expect him to do the right thing.
An enormous amount rides on every decision that Jacob Zuma makes right now about who has action taken against them and who is allowed to slide, as it were. Almost every big battle around money, almost every big battle around positions right now has consequences for the 2012 race. And unfortunately, it's the template through which we have to see a lot of these choices. So he would have to decide, okay, if he's going to act against Ele, will he alienate those who he's associated with and make them enemies in an even more serious way ahead of 2012? Will he cut off an opportunity to rebuild relationships with some of them? On the other hand, if he acts against Gwen Mahlangu-Nkabinde, will he alienate other people that are close to him? So, the argument we made in our editorial in the M&G last week was the way to deal with that was simply to take action against both of them. And perhaps the questions about his own view of the leases would go away.
If you look at the recommendations, or if you look at the remedial action, it's not entirely concrete, which allows the state to do something. So I don't expect that remedial action will not be taken. However, if it's not taken, it is open to the parties that are affected to take this matter to court, to force government to implement. The other thing is to take it to Parliament. That's my job and my team, we will monitor the dates, and if there's a problem, we will request a parliamentary debate on the matter. But I don't anticipate that that's going to happen.
The repercussions of inaction really depend on what the other institutions do. And I think in all likelihood what will happen is that President Zuma won't act on the basis of the Public Protector's report, but there are other law enforcement agencies and institutions that are working away on this issue. And I suspect that what he will want to do is to keep his own hands clean and say that it hasn't been up to him to move against particular people, and he doesn't have to take political responsibility for action against any of them. So he will allow the Special Investigating Unit, for example, to continue to probe this thing. But something that I think we've got to be very careful of is that whenever we sense that, and when I say we, I mean the South African public, sense that we've identified a champion, a crusader against corruption, we tend to try and elevate those people very quickly to hero status and to assign a kind of imaginary perfection to them. And I think we've got to be very careful about doing that. And I think that is happening a little bit right now around Thuli Madonsela. And what we really need is a much more robust set of institutions so that issues involving individuals can't cause the whole system to fall apart.